So what are God tier earbuds? Is that when you spend so much time and money on your earbuds that you'll defend them like they're your own personal deity? Are the Soundcore Liberty 3 Pro God tier because Soundcore packed these up with just about every imaginable feature available in earbuds in 2022, and they're $100 less than the Sony WF-1000 XM4s? Or do they disappoint because they cost $100 more than the Soundpeat Mini Pros? Now, I bought these LP3s with my own hard-earned cash, so stick around to find out how I view these and how I think they stack up for the amount of money that you have to pay for these, $169. Starting with the box. Well, we got pretty premium packaging here. I mean, you definitely pay a little bit more for this packaging. You got in here a really cool case with a sliding lid. It's got 3 lights on the case that tell you how much battery life's left in the case. It's roughly 1 full charge per light on the case. You get 32 hours of total playtime, and you get 8 hours on a single charge with that case. And if you're in a rush, 15 minutes of charging with the USB-C cable will give you an amazing 3 hours of playtime. And you can also charge this case wirelessly. I find the case to be pretty excellent, in fact. I mean, that design is cool and it's very functional. And the earbuds, when you put them in there, they never fail to let you know exactly when they're charging. There's that little cool light in the background, lets you know exactly when they start charging. And that is pretty cool indeed. In the case, Soundcore gives you 4 different size ear tips, and you get 4 different size ear wings as well. There's a couple of them, there's a pair already installed on the buds. You get your run-of-the-mill cables, you get your instruction manual. It's all well done when it comes to Soundcore. But that's enough of the box. Let's talk about the buds themselves. So Soundcore designed these buds with what they call fusion comfort, which pretty much means there's, I don't know, it's mumbo jumbo, right? It sounds like a gimmick, but it's supposed to relieve ear pressure. And you know what? I'm the first person on YouTube to complain about earbuds that pressurize in your ears and cause massive echoes with every time your footstep pounds the pavement. I consider myself an expert on the subject of earbuds that deliver too much pressure to your inner ear. I can tell you this, the Liberty 3 Pro's Fusion Comfort, it works. Especially with ANC on. I put these on, I get the right size tips, the right size wings. I stick them in my ears. I make sure that that wing is actually tucked inside this part of my ear. I can run, I can walk, I can work out. And all of that I can do without any annoying echoes inside my head. I mean, that alone gets a buy recommendation from me. But let's continue. Soundcore stuck dual drivers in these earbuds, and what they call ACAA 2.0 to drive the sound to the correct drivers. Oh man, that tip is tough to get off there. And I think that's actually a really cool design with that gold plating there. It looks really nice. Out of the box, these pump out excellent layered bass. They're extremely clear. They cut vibrant vocals. They got excellent crystal clear high frequencies. Their soundstage is excellent. They are a top sounding earbud as far as I'm concerned. But there's a caveat to that sound, right? You gotta download their app. You've gotta update the firmware, which I do recommend because that'll get you both improved latency on the latest versions of the firmware, and it's gonna get you LDAC high-res audio support, assuming your phone supports LDAC. And if it doesn't, I'm gonna tell you again like I did in my last video, if you're a music lover and you don't have LDAC or high-res support on your phone, just upgrade your phone. You will appreciate it. Now let me tell you, dual drivers and a high-res audio codec, that's a good combination in 2022 for earbud design. Now Soundcore, they absolutely have a great app for tailoring and tuning their earbuds and their headphones too. I've reviewed it before with a pair of headphones, and it's pretty much the same goodies that are available for the Liberty 3 Pro. You can turn on in-ear detection, you can set up the controls, you can tune the equalizer, you can experience Soundcore's personalized Hear ID tuning. You can turn LDAC on or off. You can set up 3D sound processing if you don't have LDAC. And you can set up ANC, you can set up the wind suppression for ANC, among other things. Now, if you're not going to install the app for whatever reason, you probably shouldn't buy these earbuds. I mean, you're really missing the point. Save the $100 and get the Soundcore Mini Pros. They look a lot like this. They don't have the wingtips. They don't have the app. But if you're not using the app anyway, they're pretty good for $110 less. But if you are using the app, if you are using the equalizer, you can tune these to sound however you want. There are a lot of out-of-the-box preset EQ tunings, and you've got a custom EQ as well. Soundcore signature sound that they come out of the box. It's already punchy, it's detailed, it's crisp. There's really nothing to complain about at all. But if you were going to complain about something, you shouldn't, because you can alter the sound to your heart's content in the app using the equalizer. You can tune them to deliver Edifier Neobuds level of bass. You can sparkle up the highs until they singe the nerve endings in your ears. No matter your genre, you can make the Liberty 3 Pros sound exactly what you want them to sound like. The world is your oyster. I mean, that's really all I'm going to say about their sound. It's not that I couldn't say more. I just want you to understand that they're so flexible when you use the app that whatever you prefer, these can deliver, and they do it in a really nice way. Those dual drivers, the A, C, AA 2.0 processing, it works. But they do have other features as well. Let's go over them. They have 6 microphones with AI noise reduction, and we're going to check out how they sound right now.
This is a test phone call with the Soundcore Liberty 3 Pros, and I've never tried the Liberty 2 Pros, but this is supposed to be one of the best sounding earbuds on the market today, and I am getting to the bottom of that on this review. Right now, I'm just checking out the microphones on here, and I've got a little bit of traffic going by in the background, and I'm looking to see how well these do noise suppression. I have them in ambient mode, which is just for me, so I can hear the traffic going by. But as far as the microphones go, and as far as the noise isolation goes with these, this is a test to see if they block out that traffic sound.
Okay, that's how the mics sound. Let me know in the comments what you think. Now, talking about their touch controls for a minute. I mean, the touch controls are located kind of up here on the top of the earbud. I find that they work well. You can tune them to do whatever you want in the app. You can shut off single, double, long press, or triple tap. You can turn them all on or off in the app. It's really cool. I just find that I want them all on, and I definitely miss triple tap quite a few times when I'm trying to tap it while running or working out. I don't know if it's me or if it's just the workout, but I do tend to miss a little bit because of where the tap controls are. It's not that they're not responsive or whatever, it's just, I guess they're just not perfect. Otherwise, they're configurable to be perfect. It's just the experience for me while running isn't perfect. I guess I might prefer a physical button for running. And if I am talking about running, they have an IPX4 rating, which I think, as I've said before, IPX4 is really a bare minimum for working out. I mean, I'm chancing it with these because I really like the experience of working out with these. They are that good. They are so good, in fact, that I am forgetting about earhook style earbuds for working out. I just hope that it's not like a really expensive mistake and that, you know, sweating in these for a few weeks will cause them to burn out, which has definitely happened to me in the past with less IPX rated earbuds. Now, they do work in mono mode, and they have a decent, or I would say like a socially responsible max volume of 100 decibels. It's not super loud, but it is definitely loud enough that you shouldn't be looking for an extra click or two of volume. Now, their latency while watching videos is decent, but there's no low latency or gaming mode here, and that's really probably their one missing major feature, is that low latency mode. But here's a feature that very few earbuds have, which is multi-point connectivity, which you do have to turn on in the app, but that's right, you can connect 2 devices at the same time to the Liberty 3 Pros, which is pretty cool and pretty convenient. All right, well, let's talk about their ANC for a minute. I mean, their ANC is quite strong, and if you're in a quiet setting, not moving around too much, it'll do the job really well to block out sounds. If you're out there huffing and puffing on the treadmill like I am when I'm working out, sometimes I find that the ANC is so good, I can actually hear myself breathing inside my head because it's so quiet and the ANC is blocking out so much sound. It's kind of a weird sensation, but it is a solid ANC that I think you could use at your home, your office, on a commute or whatever. And I think there's also like a wind reduction mode. I've turned it on in the app, and I think that that's another really useful feature. Let's talk about their transparency mode. That is also good. And there are two options for the transparency mode in the app. You can have full transparency, or you can just focus on voice mode in transparency. Now, I think that's pretty nifty tech, actually, because the voice mode actually boosts voices, so you can hear them better than in just regular transparency mode. So that's kind of nice if you're trying to have a conversation with someone and you don't want to take your earbuds off. Set it up in the app, and when you're toggling between your different modes, your touch controls, it'll always go to the one that you selected in the app, which in my case is the voice mode. Hey, and there's a few other app features that I'd like to tell you about. First of all, there's a fitness test in there, not like a personal fitness test, but a fitness test for the earbuds and how well they seal in your ears. You can set the auto power off timeout so that when they're disconnected from any Bluetooth source, how long will it be before they turn off? You can turn off touch control prompts. You can turn on or off in-ear detection. You can turn off in-ear detection prompts. You can also update the firmware, which again, you'll have to do when you buy these, so that if you want LDAC, you have to do, I don't understand why they don't ship it with LDAC, but anyway, you gotta update the firmware to get LDAC support right away. Which does mean you have to download the app, which is like a pro or a con, depending on your point of view. Once you activate LDAC, you can control in the app whether you want to use LDAC or AAC when you use them. And if you're not going to use LDAC and you're going to use AAC, you can turn on 3D surround sound, which is kind of cool. It gives a nice immersive experience beyond the normal AAC, but it's still not as good, in my opinion, as that high-res LDAC codec. All right, so that's a lot about these earbuds. So are they God tier, or are they disappointing for $100 more than the average earbud that I normally review on my channel? Hey, look, I'm pretty much using these every day. I mean, I don't use the app every day, but once I use the app to set the earbuds the way that I wanted them in the app, I don't really need to use it anymore. But I use the earbuds every day. I mean, they fit great, they feel comfortable, they have zero pressure in my ears. I can use them to work out, I can use them to block out the noise around me, or I can use them to hear what's going on around me. And they sound great. But are they God tier? Are they $100 better than the Soundpeats Mini Pro? I mean, the Mini Pro with a free equalizer app like Wavelet, are these really worth $110 more? Well, I mean, the Liberty 3 Pro do fit better. The ANC is better. The sound is better. They have more features. They are missing that one major feature that the Soundpeat Mini Pros have, the low latency gaming mode. That might be a deal breaker for you. And they do cost $110 more, which is a significant amount of money. I actually got them on sale for $129, so it makes it a lot easier to swallow. But if your hard-earned cash is precious to you, you can thoroughly enjoy a much less expensive earbud and still get most of the same features and even pretty close sound quality and save that $110. But if money doesn't matter to you, yeah, go for the Liberty 3 Pros. I mean, they definitely will not disappoint. All right, bonus round. Let's take a look at that app. All right, the Liberty Pro 3 app. I can see the battery, left, right, and the case. So I got my case is down to about 80%. I can set up my ambient sound right here. I can set up whether I want vocal mode, or I can tap in here and put full transparency mode. I have the ability to turn wind reduction on or off when I'm in ANC mode. I like vocal mode for transparency. You can do the Hear ID test, which will personalize the EQ settings to your ears and how you hear sound to try to get it to a kind of more natural or neutral EQ setting. You got a ton of equalization settings in here that you can set up. You can always go into the custom equalizer and you can do whatever you want in there, which is pretty cool. I would never set it up quite like this, and maybe more kind of like that. Just throwing it out there. And then you can save them as your different custom settings, and you can see you got a nice range where they're allowing you to customize the different frequencies. Again, you could set up 3D sound only if you're not using LDAC, and if you were set up Hear ID, you'd be able to set that as your signature. I've been pretty much using Soundcore default. Even though it doesn't have quite as much bass as I might like, it has a ton of bass, but it doesn't go over the top like the Edifier NeoBuds Pro unless you go in here and you set up like bass booster, which would then do it. And I love the way that they give you the equalization settings on each of these, except for on the Soundcore signature. It's a big secret of how they EQ it out of the box. But these are all pretty amazing how good these sound and how good they take to the EQ settings. You can go in and set up whether you want LDAC or just AAC. You can then set up all the controls. And again, you can turn on or off single tap, double tap, long press, and triple tap. And then you can configure exactly what every single one of them do. And you can pretty much get everything you want in here. I have previous next track, ambient sound, and I can switch between all the different modes that I want. And you can even tell it you don't want to turn on certain things. So if you just want noise cancellation and transparency, you could do that, turn off normal. If you don't want transparency mode, you can turn that off. I like having all three and toggling between the three. Got my voice assistant, got my play pause, double tap on either earbud, and single tap is my volume control. It's got everything I want, and you can set up everything you want the way you like it as well. There's a bunch more settings in here. You got your wearing detection, you got your multiple device list. If you need to clear them, you go in there. I only have one, and you need to turn on dual device connectivity when you do that. Turn up the different prompt tones, wearing alert, touch tones. That fitment test, so you can figure out if you got a good seal, and that'll give you the best bass. It'll also help you isolate, for better noise canceling. It's a nice feature, actually. You got your auto power off settings, again, how long you want it to happen. You can update your firmware, and you got your online guide. And that is a pretty full-fledged app, and I mean, it works really well. I have no issues using that app whatsoever. All right, that's the bonus round on the app. Thanks again for watching. See you next time.